Our top story tonight is the investigation underway after a Beaumont man hit and killed a Jefferson County Sheriff's deputy. It happened Saturday night on Burrow-Wingate Road near Fannett. The deputy was off duty at the time and was mowing his front lawn when he was hit by that speeding SUV. 12 News broke this story last night, and we've since learned that state troopers are charging that driver with intoxicated manslaughter. 38-year-old Michael Miller is in the Jefferson County Jail charged with intoxication manslaughter and unlawfully carrying a weapon. His bond set at $250,000. DPS tells us they're still waiting on test results from a blood test, hoping to determine Miller's blood alcohol content at the time of the wreck. Meanwhile, Deputy Jim Lee is the man who died in this crash. It's come as a shock for those in the Southeast Texas law enforcement community and beyond. Sheriff Zena Stevens says Lee's death was preventable, and it's leaving behind a major void at the sheriff's office. 12 News reporter James Grant spoke with the sheriff and a former colleague of Deputy Lee. He's here to tell us how they're remembering him. And James, I can't even imagine after such an unthinkable tragedy.
That's right, Cam. Those who knew Deputy Lee say he was one of the finest to ever come through the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. They say at 71 years old, Lee had no plans to retire.
You don't expect people not to show back up at work on a Monday because they got hit while they were cutting grass in their front yard.
Jefferson County Sheriff Zena Stevens is trying to make sense of how someone like Deputy Jim Lee, who served as a Marine and spent much of his life chasing down wanted fugitives, could lose his life in such an unexpected way.
To die in that manner, a manner that could have been prevented or avoided, doesn't make it easier, makes it more difficult, I think.
According to Sheriff Stevens, Lee joined the sheriff's office in 1973, later leaving and coming back in 2002. Lee has been a deputy in Jefferson County for more than 20 years, most recently serving in the Fugitive Warrant Division. It was there that he met his supervisor, Bradford Lowe.
I've never seen him have a bad day. You know what I'm saying? If he did, you couldn't tell. He was just a good guy.
Lowe worked with Deputy Lee for 6 years and says he was always the first one in and last one out.
He was still working late to try to execute a warrant. You see, and so that's how he was, man. He would stay on it till he got the job done.
According to Sheriff Stevens, Deputy Lee's only child, James, was set to start with the Sheriff's Corrections Unit this coming Friday, the same unit his dad started in almost 50 years ago.
To have Jim's life cut short and him not to get to experience, I think, one of the greatest joys for him, to see his son following his footsteps, that's one of the most difficult things right now for me, and the fact that we're going to miss him.
And Sheriff Stevens actually says, ironically, Deputy Lee worked late recently to try and track down a fugitive wanted for DWI. She says Deputy Lee's loss will be felt by folks not just here in Southeast Texas, but around the world. Live outside the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, James Grant, 12 News.